Alright, I'm going to try and get my dashboard apart. Not the whole dashboard, but just this front fascia to access the stereo unit. There's supposedly some coax cable connections on the back of the stereo and that I want to try and access and be able to route. There's a access hole right here, so if you want to try and tap into your phone or whatever the case may be. I was instructed that in order to get this front fascia off, you got to remove some Phillips head screws that are in these front vents. There's 4 total of those, and then there's the one air conditioning heat duct up here. There's 2 screws there. After those have been removed, this whole piece should lift off, and then there's additional screws underneath there. After those have been removed, this should lift off, giving you access to the back side of the stereo. So this is a 2015 Winnebago Itasca Solei, but I'm pretty sure that this will cover 2015 and higher Solei, Itasca, Winnebago, Forzas. But anyway, I'm going to get started on doing that, loosening all those screws and removing that, and I will return with a progress report. Alright, I just wanted to mention, I know I've already mentioned this before. First of all, I want to apologize for my video making skills. I'm not a YouTuber, I don't make videos, I suck at it, so there's that. But anyway, I did mention about removing these 2 screws in one of the segments prior, but whoever had my dashboard apart previously, there's 2 screws up here that you see, where is it? It connects right there to that black molding. So when you go to take the dashboard apart, I had talked about all the screw heads up here. I had talked about the vent, there were some screws, all the screws in the vents across, including the pipes. But after you go and remove all of those, don't forget that there's going to be 2 here that you're going to need to take out, and also 2 right there. As you can see, they're getting put back in right now. So that's that. I will continue on with the video. Okay, so I removed the screws from all of the vents, and as you can see, there's 2 screws for each vent. The only ones that were different and they look slightly longer are these 2 here, and that was the 3rd vent in going toward the driver's seat. So you want to pay attention to that because the connection points might be deeper here, which is why they use these longer screws. Either that or they were done with carelessness from the factory, one of the 2. But let me go ahead and collect all these screws and see how this lifts off here. Let me get a little wider angle here. There we go. So I got my helper here who's going to film while I get the Okay, so it looks like 2 screws that have to come out of the pipe that connects the vent to the hose. Actually, 1 hose or 1 screw. They didn't put the other one in the other side there. All right. Out of the way. Okay, so now we have access to the other screws. It looks like there's 7 of them, 3 over here, 2 here, and 2 right against here. There is another vent cover over here that I forgot to show you. That may or may not have to come out. I don't know yet. I'm going to go ahead and unscrew that just to be sure. But let me go ahead and unscrew that and I will be back. Okay, so I did end up taking those two screws, or this vent out, and these two screws that hold this vent in are smaller, so keep that in mind when you're removing those. All the screws have been removed from the portion of the dash that I am taking apart. This part was accessed, obviously, because I took that whole dark brown cover off, but I'm not going to be taking anything off here that needs accessing. So once you remove these screws, this piece actually lifts off fairly easily, and I'm going to have my helper. It kind of tucks into this lip, so you're going to want to, you know, when you go to take it out, you go that way towards the windshield. And then let's see here. Okay. And there you go. There's the back of the stereo. All your hoses. I guess while this is opened up, for any of you who may be curious, I'm going to go ahead and just get a little pan of the back of the display and what's going on back there, connections. Basically all your air duct work and electric stuff is all through here. Now, as far as what's holding the radio in, if you needed to actually slide it out, it looks like there's two screws right here, and for a bracket, and one screw, I don't know if you can see that right there. When you remove those, the radio should just lift straight up. Actually, there's another, basically any of the screws that you see that might be holding this in, you'd want to remove in order to pull this right out. I'm not actually taking the stereo out. I just needed simple access to plug in some cords. So that's as far as I'm going to go with it. But that's it. Your unit, what I didn't show you, there's actually two screws right here next to the radio. They may be, I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning of the video. They may be there. Mine weren't. So I actually have to reattach these once I put everything back together. But that's it. The installation is the same as removal. So once you're done doing what you need to do after accessing in here, just remember where you took your screws out from and secure everything back in. Make sure it's nice and snug. And that's it. I hope you found this video helpful. And again, this was a 2015 Winnebago Itasca Solei 34T. Just working on reassembling the dashboard. And when you have this dark brown piece off, take a good look at the underside of it. I forgot to get a good picture of it for the video. But there's like a little retaining clip that looks like it needs to interlock with part of a black frame that's under here. So you kind of have to have this piece pulled forward, pushed down, and then slid towards the windshield so it locks nice and snug. Because if you don't, it's just going to be bouncing around. So you don't want that. So make sure that you push down, and then it just kind of, you know, scoops under that little black piece. It's kind of like a claw, and that'll interlock it. And then you can continue putting all of your screws back in. Alright, everything is back together. Everything is completely set and back together, but I wanted to make one extra mention of something. Both me and my partner didn't think to record certain things here. Don't mind the tire pressure monitor. When you're putting this top part on, there's like a little metal bracket that sticks out here. Make sure that tucks. There's like a little plastic clip behind this big part. Make sure that tucks in properly, otherwise there'll be a weird gap here. And the same thing with down here. There's this little trim piece. When I first put it on, it was overhanging this part. You want to make sure it tucks behind this. And that's it. That's the only other thing I could think of that I may have missed, but hopefully you didn't find the video too confusing and you could follow it along enough to get your dash apart and back together. Alright, thanks again for watching.